Today we're going to talk about proportion word problems. As you read this problem, keep in mind that you don't have to read every single ingredient in this box. We're probably only going to be looking for one kind of ingredient, so when we're highlighting important information, we only really need to highlight the ingredient we're looking for. Sam is making chocolate chip cookies for his class. He is using the recipe in the box. One thing I do want to highlight is that this recipe makes 16 cookies. That's important information to know. As I read through the rest of the problem, if there are 24 people in his class, how much sugar will Sam need to bake enough cookies for each student to have one cookie? So I'm going to be looking for sugar, so as I look back up in my box, I'm going to highlight sugar. For those of you who are having a hard time seeing it, that's 3/4. This is always a proportion question. Anytime I give you a recipe and I ask you to make the recipe bigger or smaller, and I want to know how much of the ingredients going to be in the new recipe, it's always a proportion. The first half of your proportion is always going to be setting up the original recipe. So 3/4 of a cup of sugar will go on top. Now fractions get kind of confusing in a proportion because you've already got a fraction bar. It would be easier to change that 3/4 to 0.75 cups, which is 16 cookies. So I'm going to put cookies on the bottom. Now there's 24 people in his class and each student gets one cookie, which means he needs to make at least 24 cookies. So we're going to put 24 on the bottom because cookies is on the bottom. I don't know how many cups of sugar that's going to be yet, so I'm going to put an X on the top. Cross multiply. On the left hand side you've got 16x. 24 times 0.75 is 18. Divide both sides by 16. Now 18 over 16 is going to give me a strange decimal, and since none of my answers are in decimal form, I'm actually going to change this to a mixed number. Before I do that, I want to simplify it. So if I want to simplify this, I can divide the top and bottom by 2. So this becomes 9 on the top, 8 on the bottom. Remember, changing it to a mixed number, 8 goes into 9 one time evenly with a remainder of 1. So my answer is 1 1/8.